Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's 8 o'clock. It's 8 p.m. right now in Moscow, so it's time for our Skyeng webinar. My name is Sam. Сейчас я быстро переключусь на русский. Всем привет, меня зовут Сэм. Сейчас уже 8 часов вечера по Москве, значит, пришло время начать наш вебинар от Skyeng. Пожалуйста, напишите в комментариях, если меня слышно и видно, пишите плюсы. И если будут проблемы с пониманием или нужно будет, чтобы я чуть медленнее, тоже прописывайте. Ага, вижу, полетели первые плюсы. Значит, я могу переключиться быстро на английский. So, hello once more, my name is Sam, and today I will be entertaining your attention for the next approximately 1 hour. So, first introduction will be from Skyeng. This webinar is brought from Skyeng, so now I'll switch back to Russian. Что такое Skyeng? Skyeng – это онлайн-школа, самая крупная онлайн-школа в России и СНГ по изучению английского языка. Во-первых, Skyeng – это удобный формат занятий. Вы практически выбираете любое время, которое вам удобно, и занимаетесь английским. Так как все наши преподаватели – это люди, которые работают в разных городах, даже в разных странах, самое главное, когда вам будет удобно, вы заходите на платформу и занимаетесь английским языком. Второе, что немаловажно, Skyeng – это преподаватели мечты. Почему мечты? Потому что на каждой позиции преподавателя проходит кастинг 1 к 36. Кроме того, мы подбираем людей по хобби, по занятиям. Кому-то нравится более релакс преподаватель, кому-то из вас нравится более формальный, и мы подгоняем каждого преподавателя под ваши нужды. И третье, самое, наверное, важное и интересное, это уникальная платформа для изучения английского языка, но о ней я расскажу чуть позже. Идем дальше. Итак, так как мы с вами уже встретились, я бы хотел объявить интересную штуку, которую проводит также Skyeng. Это бесплатные разговорные клубы в антикафе в Москве. Ближайший будет 4 числа в антиковоркинге Democracy. И затем вы видите прямо на слайде 5 сентября антикафе «Атмосфера». Приходите, вход свободный. Нет. Так, я пишут, что нет видео. Кстати, это хороший момент. Если у вас есть проблемы по технической части, пишите, пожалуйста, наши модераторы вам смогут помочь. Итак, бесплатный разговорный клуб от Skyeng, бесплатный вход, 5 сентября, атмосфера в 19:30. Мы будем вас ждать. Идем дальше. Итак, вводная информация общая, все пройдено. Теперь перейдем снова на английский через раз, два, три. So today we're going to have our webinar on the topic of slang. And before we start, I'd love to give you a small breakdown. First of all, we're going to talk about what is slang, get into depth of how words turn into slang and why other words are called standard English. Then we're going to check slangs on every situation possible for you to use in your life. And at the end, we're going to have some time of gifts and presents for you. So basically, what is slang and when to use slang? Let's do a little history lesson, how the words emerge to be slang. Slang is an informal language, also English, but used in situations more relaxed. Like if you're meeting with a friend, if you're chatting, I don't know, if you're watching a movie. Those are words that are simple to understand, simple to use, and they just pop up in your head. Like you could be talking with your friend, and instead of using one word, you can use another word, and bam, you have your slang word. So basically, slang is a word that has a reflection of the time when it came to be. Let's take an example, the 1920s, the beginning of the 20th century in the United States, jazz era, swing era, big timers, big parties. So people were in all this atmosphere of jazz and parties, and they brought up words that belong to jazz, like giggles juice, like scrooge, like zoozled, or even the word a gig, which means a party. If you know right now, no one says a gig. Oh, let's say maybe it's some old people, but mostly there are other words to say parties. Then if we go to the 1960s, the hippies era, the peace era, you have the words, thousands of phrases and thousands of words to say marijuana, to say good time having, and so on and so on. If we go further, if we go forward, we get the 2000s or the late 90s when the hip-hop era began to emerge, began to develop, And that's why we have words like this, homie, that's my favorite word actually. So time after time, generation after generation, new slang emerged. So basically, why do you need to know slang? Why do you need to use slang? You'd ask me. Slang is a word that, first of all, shows you are attached or you belong to a certain group, maybe to a certain age, I don't know, to a social community. It's a word that, let's say, me and you are from a location A and someone from a location B, and only we at location A, we have some sort of word or phrases that we use to communicate with each other. So basically, that's what slang is all about. But since we're in the era of globalization, since there are no more boundaries, slang has become a word to use when you want to be, I don't know, fast, when you want to be real, when you want to be emotional. Like you have standard classic English words and you have slang words. Those like standard English words, they might not always translate all the emotions or all the fastness that you want to say. So you use a slang word. Like the word cool, like everyone knows the word cool, and whenever you say the word cool, whether in Tanzania or in Zanzibar or in Russia, in America, everyone knows what the word cool means. And if we're talking about slang and let's say we're talking about different countries, we should talk about the period. One thing about slang is that it has a very short lifespan. Like when we mentioned earlier the jazz era, we had words that lasted, I don't know, that were trendy, I don't know, for 30, maybe 40 years. Then we went forward to the 1960s. We got another word. Then we moved forward like 20 years more. We got another word. And if you're familiar with slang words or with the, let's say, pop culture of the 2000s, you know that every 5 years new words imagine and come out. Like if you ask me some slang words like me, I wouldn't know some of them because they're popping up like every day. So a slang word is something that is very short-lived. Let's continue. And there are some situations where, кстати, да, пожалуйста, напишите, и нужно ли мне говорить чуть медленнее, возможно. Напишите плюсы, потому что я вижу то, что некоторые... I will slow down. So, when not to use slang? If you're at a business meeting, for example, if you want to sign a contract, or maybe, I don't know, Vladimir Putin called you for dinner, and there, I guess you should not use a slang word. Or maybe you want to write an official letter, you want to apply for job vacancy, so I think that's a place where you should rather not use slang. Because one thing about slang, it is informal, and it is a language that is used among friends, among pals, and stuff like that. So basically, if you have a formal situation, stick to your classic standard English. Let's go on further. Okay. Maybe you have a little confusion going around in your head right now because I've said a lot. So when do you have to use slang, or where is it appropriate to use slang? Basically, it's appropriate to use slang with anything that has to do with internet or that has to do with your friends. If you're chatting, if you're talking, if you're just walking around, if you're thinking, slang is the best way to channel your emotions that just pop out like this. But formal situations, not really. And if you're a non-native speaker, I don't know, let's imagine that you travel to Bristol, that's in the United Kingdom, you travel to Bristol, you Google some slang words, you're not very sure of their meaning, so I'd say that you'd rather wait for the right moment for you to hear a native speaker from Bristol saying the word, and then only should you use a slang word. So you should be a bit cautious with when and where to use the slang words. But otherwise, slang words, to me, in my opinion, they're just one of the best languages that we have right now. Okay, so let's talk about the difference between American and British slang. Before that, we're going to have some short history lesson. So we had the United Kingdom, then when was it, in the 19th century? We had the United States. Yeah, the United States was born in the 19th century. So Immigrants from all parts of Europe travel to the United States. They settle down there, and if you're familiar with the history, you know that basically people that traveled to the United Kingdom were either workers, laborers, or what I mean, people of no high social standing. So their language was very simple. Their language was very limited in some ways. So they produced something that we even call now American English. You know, there's a difference between American English and British English. The same thing with slang. A German American and a Polish American mix. They have an interaction, and within that interaction, new words emerge, and some of them become standard American English, some of them become slang. So that is basically how we and why we distinct American and British slang, because of the history that came before. And one thing about slang is it emerged or it's actual within a certain pop culture. Like you have American pop culture and you have the British pop culture. Check out this slide right here. We have an example of was it in Texas or was it was in Chicago, Texas. Pardon me, I don't really remember. A teenage girl, she just finished doing her eyebrows, and she used the word on fleek. That video went viral through Vine. Maybe you know Vine. If you don't know Vine, Google Vine. So she uploaded a video where she said that her eyebrows were on fleek. And from that little viral video, the word on fleek became a slang. So it was a slang basically in America. But since we're talking about globalization, talking about no boundaries, it emerged to other countries. But we see a certain situation that emerged in America and a certain slang that came through it. If it was in Britain, it would be another scenario or another situation. So that's basically the difference between American and British slang. But if there are differences, there should be similarities. Let's talk about words and phrases that have different meanings depending on countries. A very nice sentence. To be honest, when I was preparing for this webinar, that is when I got to know about this. You know, when I think about going on a piece, I would say like, we all know what I mean. But then I had to Google, like I had to check around, and I found out that the word or the phrase piece used in 3 different situations in different countries have different meanings. So going on a piece in the motherland, United Kingdom means to get drunk. Yo, I'm going on a piece today. If you tell someone in Britain, if you understand that, you probably will want to get drunk. Maybe it's Friday, I don't know. But if you're saying to take a piece in the United Kingdom, it means that you are trying to mock someone, try to make fun of someone. So that's basically it. In the United States, maybe because of the no boundaries anymore, people will understand, but basically it's to take a piece. It is a phrase or a slang that has meaning basically in the United Kingdom. But the most common, the one maybe you're familiar with, is to be pissed off. To be pissed off. Everyone knows what to be pissed off means. Is that right? To be pissed off is mean to get angry. I don't know, to get angry at the maximum level. Like to get angry somewhere here, to be pissed off is somewhere here. So that is a word or a phrase that have 3 different meanings depending on country and depending on situation. You know what? Let's try and take a look at one of these videos right now. Okay. Are you ready? 1, 2, let's go. Okay, this is a situation of the second. To take a piece, meaning to mock someone. Wait a minute. Oh, we have some technical issues. Once more, the last 2 seconds. Are you taking a piece? So the situation right here is that a kid is walking around the school, is listening to music, And then the elders, the seniors, they stop him by asking, what are you listening to? He says that he's listening to rap, and he makes a joke that rap is for black people because they basically are always angry. So the senior, the girl, she thinks that he's trying to make fun of her. So she's asking, are you taking a piss? So that is a way to say and use a piece in Britain in a certain situation to mean to mock someone. Okay, let's continue. Get back to our presentation. Pardon me. Okay, while I'm trying to figure this out, I want you to take attention to the questions bar above the verb process section. If you have any questions, please leave them there. I will answer them at the end of the webinar, because in the chat I see people asking a lot of questions, but I won't be able to scroll it up. So if you have any such questions, just leave it there. Thank you, our invisible technical person. You helped me out. Okay, so why are we here? Is to get some phrases and words to use in our everyday life. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Okay, imagine you're walking down the road, you see a person, and you want to greet that person. What are the ways to greet him in the UK or in the US using a slang word? Basically, you could say good day, you could say good morning, whatever, but if you want to sound a little catchy or trendy, you can use one of these words that is shown below. In the United Kingdom, it will be watcha. And you know, one thing about the UK is the Cockney accent, yeah? So whenever you're saying something, you should try and imitate accent. Okay, so you meet someone in the world, you say, hey, watcha. Or you can say here, or you can say a up, or you can say wagwan. Okay, so if watcha, here, and a up are basically, let's say, the native breeds, I mean the Scottish, the British, and the Irish. So the wagwan is the Jamaican versions. As you may know, there are lots of Jamaicans in the United Kingdom, and they have their own English language. So the wagwan is the Jamaican version of saying hello in a slang way. Okay, then you have your, this one is quite difficult, the ohiro. Please, if you have time, just Google this ohiro, the pronunciation, how to say it, because a lot of things in the British English has to do with the accents. So if you say it like ohiro and you have not the accents, people will have difficult time to understand you. So the next one is easy. Easy. That's a way to greet in the UK if you want to use a slang. Okay, if we're talking about the United States, let's watch this clip. 1, 2. Okay. All right, our technical person will help us out with this, but let's continue. If you want to greet a slang version, a slang way in the United States, the most typical, I don't know, the classic, the golden way is to say, what's up? What's up? What's up? Everyone uses it. And this is one of the situations where a slang word is actually not so slangy anymore, because even presidents say what's up. I don't know, in business community, you hear people saying what's up. You even have the application what's up. So what's up is the, let's say, the most trendy way to greet someone if you're in the United States. We all know the hi, that's basic. I don't even think that's a slang, but there is a full hello, so hi is a slang. And there is a hey there. The hey there, that's the southern part of the United States. You know, like the United States is also a great and big country. You have different places, different locations, and every location in the United States has its own language. So the hey there is the south version of saying hello. And one more is see ya. Okay, so if you're in the United Kingdom, you say watcha, and if you're in the United States, you say what's up. Let's continue. Okay, you meet that person on the road, you say what's up, and how can you address a person? Like, you could say person, or you could say young man, young lady, auntie, I don't know, granddad. But since we're talking about slang, what are the slang words to address a person? I'm sure you all, maybe if you don't know it, but you've heard it, the most popular, the gold word of the British slang is might. Man, am I even saying it right? Might. Please, I'm telling you, try to Google these words and listen to the Cockney accent of them, because that is the most interesting part. Okay, so you say whatcha mate or whatcha mate. That's the most popular version. But the second word is lad, and then you have fella. So lad and fella are basically synonyms. All of them are synonyms, but lad and fella basically have the same emotional context to this word. Mate is someone close to you. A mate is like a bro. A mate is like someone that, even if you don't know him yet, but you plan to be very close. So that's mate. So you have what's a mate. Let's go to the United States, and what we have here, we have dude. Have you ever heard the word dude? Write in the chat text below, please. Yeah, Tim says he has, because and Yuri also. Dude is the most popular way. And if you want to, I don't know, if somehow you get to Bronx and you meet with the black fellas, the black Americans, shout out to my black Americans, the word will be shorty. Shorty as the word to address someone that is common among the African Americans. So you'll be, what's up, shorty? What's up, dude? Then the third word is dog. Remember earlier when we were talking about how to greet someone in the UK, we had the word wagwan. And I said that was the word that came to England along with the Jamaicans. So the word dog is also from the Jamaicans, but those that settled in the United States. So dog is a way to address someone if you're around Jamaicans. And the next one is a pal. I would also rather put this into the Southern Americans, because that's basically about the Southern Americans. Okay, so now our imaginary person in UK we say whatcha mate. In the United States we say what's up, dude. Let's continue. Okay, now we have some video clips, and I'd love you to pay attention, especially to the first one, to the Cockney accents. Okay, let me try and figure this out. Yep. Thank you, our invincible technical person. Let's scroll this a bit. Let's scroll this. You heard it? Let's do it once more. Although Jim Carrey isn't a Brit, but good day, mate. Some people, I've heard that the mate word said might. Some people say mate, but I guess it depends on the region of the UK where you are. Oh, they're telling me that the sound is low. Thanks a lot. I'll pay attention to that. Okay, let's continue. All right. It seems I'm a new person, and it seems hard to me to understand this yet. Okay, the next one is the United States of America, and please pay attention to the word that these guys are going to say, and I'll ask you a question. You ready? 1, 2, let's do it. Once more. Okay, can you please tell me in the chat box what was the word that they used? Okay. No. What was the word that they used to address each other? Yep, thank you, Anastasia, the word, and thank you, Yuli. Yeah, the word is dude. Okay, let's continue. So we had the hello version in slang. We have the addressing people. Now we're going further. Okay. Yep. So you meet a person, is either your dude or your mate. Now, one of the benefits of slang is that one word can describe or characterize a person. Let's just remember this word. The first word is a sucker. So basically, sucker is a loser in the American version. That's from the United States. The next one is a drama queen. Just imagine you have a girlfriend, you have a wife, and she always gets on your nerves. She always likes to make small issues big, and you say, yo, darling, you're a drama queen. So a drama queen is someone who turns a little situation into something big because she's a drama queen like an actress. Yep, thank you, Natalia. That's the right way to say it in Russian. The next word is nerd. We all know nerd. Nerd is a person who is, I don't know, always in his books, I don't know, always in his computer or something. A nerd is a person who gets into something very, very, very in depth. It could be not only books, it could be anything at all. Then the next one is a party pooper. Imagine, yep, thank you, Yuri, that's the right one. Imagine you had a party, you throw a party, your parents are out, and then someone, I don't know, he breaks your mom's favorite glass cup. What will happen? She'll come and I'm sure she'll give you a hell of a time. So a party pooper is someone who gets things bad, who spoils things and stuff like that. Okay, so I have a sucker, we have a drama queen, we have a nerd, and a party pooper. Let's continue. We meet our imaginary person. In UK, we say, what's your mate? In the US, we say, what's up, dude? And now let's talk about words that describe situations. Let's start with good situations or cool. So in the UK, there are lots of words like in the US also, but the most popular, the most trendy way would be to say ace or aces. So if something is going good, you say ace. If something is going very good, you say ace. The next one is cracking. It's cracking. Though remember the Cockney accent. Then the next one is posh and smashing. So it's ace, cracking, posh, smashing. So those are words that you could use to describe when things go very good. In the United States, my favorite word is dope. So when something goes very good, you say, yo, this shit is dope. Then the next word will be tight. So tight is also a word that belongs to the African American culture. So what's up? Everything is tight. I don't know. How was your day today? It was tight, and so on and so on. The next one will be low key. Actually, I won't really describe this. I would love you to take this low key and Google it and find out on your own. Why? Because low key is a new slang that emerged just recently. So it's a very new, a very fresh slang. But since it's in the group of cool, you already know the meaning, but I would love you to take time and Google it and find other words of our current generation. Sort of a home task, I don't know. Okay, let's continue. What about when things go unpleasant or when things don't go the way you want or when everything like we have in this nice picture, when things are not very good? There is the word arse. You know, we all know the word that goes ASS and now we have the word arse. That's a British when things go bad and it has to do with that word with the ASS. The next one is beastly and then we have dim. The word dim, I would say, among all these three, is the most uncontroversial, the most, I don't know, how would you say? Oh, the most conservative word to say when things go not the way you want. Then let's go to the United States, and the word that's very popular is mess, shit, ditch, and suck. So I would say that the word suck is the most trendy among all of them. Yeah, because you all know the phrase like this sucks or that sucks. That's the most popular or trendy. Let's continue. Okay, now we're going to talk about exclamations. All right, our imaginary person, we say, what's up, dude? He answers us, and let's say he asks us, how are you? So basically, or most often, we would begin the answer with an exclamation because we want to share our emotions. It could be a positive exclamation or negative. So exclamations are a very important part of any language, and they have their slang versions. Let's talk about the United Kingdom. The one that's most popular is the Bob's Your Uncle. Bob's Your Uncle. You know what? I want to ask you to, because Bob's Your Uncle is quite a catchy or maybe quite difficult, try and write in the chat box below, what do you think Bob's Your Uncle signifies? Is it a positive emotion or negative? Just write positive or negative, and I'll continue. The next one is blow me, and that's quite popular. Blow me is a positive exclamation, like, I don't know, someone comes to you and say, oh, I have news for you, and you be like, blow me. That's for you to start up. Okay, I see people saying negative, and minuses. Oh, Ludmila says positive and even adds exclamation signs. Okay, negative. I guess it's quite hard to judge about a word or a sentence if you're not very familiar, but those of you who said negative and positive are right, because Bob's Your Uncle is an exclamation that you add in the end of your sentence that just means your emotional high. It depends on whether the sentence before was negative or positive, then you just add Bob's Your Uncle. It can be an exclamation sign. So it's not positive and it's not negative, it's just emotional pick. And there's a little story behind Bob's Your Uncle. Bob's Your Uncle emerged in the UK in the 19th century when a British Prime Minister appointed as the Minister of Ireland his nephew. So people were like, when something of that sort happens, something cheesy, where you're not very sure of the origins, you say, oh, Bob's your uncle. So the Prime Minister appointed his nephew as a Minister of Ireland, and that situation transformed into a slang. So when things those days happened when you were not very sure of the origins, you'd be like, oh, Bob's your uncle. Like, I don't know, you're at work and your friend gets a promotion without any reason, and you're like, oh, Bob's your uncle. That was then. But now it just became an exclamation that you add at the end of a sentence. Okay, let's go to the United States, and the one that's most popular would be Christ's sake. Basically, if you're familiar with the history of the United States, you know that most of the Americans were Christians. So we have a lot of words, a lot of phrases that have to do with religion. So for Christ's sake is an example of that. For Christ's sake is also an exclamation, and it has more of a, I would say, negative colors. Yeah, like, yep, thanks, Paulina, yep, that's it. So someone tells you a news, and you'll be like, someone tells you a news that you already heard before, or maybe someone tells you about a person that you've heard a lot of stuff before, so you're like, oh, for Christ's sake, don't tell me anything about that person anymore. So for Christ's sake is a negative exclamation that has to do when you are tired or when you don't want to hear something, and etc., etc. Give me a break. Okay, let me bring an example. You're doing something, I don't know, you're writing your homework, then your mom comes into your room and she's like, oh, go wash the dishes. And you'd be like, give me a break, Mom, I'm doing my homework. So give me a break is also a explanation that has, don't know. Give me a break could be a positive way too. Like if you're joking, give me a break would be a sign that you want to transform from one part to the other. So give me a break, it has to do with negative and with positive emotions. And then the next one, let's try and watch this. Our magical technical person, thanks a lot. So this will be our third slang. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's do it once more. 1, 2. Okay. So as you see from this moment, hell yeah is an exclamation that has to do with, I would say, yeah, with more positive something. Like if you're driving a car and you are driving very good and I don't know, you could say hell yeah, I'm a good driver. Or maybe if you're playing soccer or you're playing basketball and then you score, you're like hell yeah, I did it. So hell yeah is an explanation that has to do with positive emotions. Okay, let's continue. We go back to our presentation. So, US, for Christ's sake, UK, Bob's your uncle. Let's go further. Now we'll talk about acronyms. So, we all live in the era of internet, and what's the main thing about internet? The main thing about internet is speed. Like if you're writing a text, you don't want to write full words, you don't want to write full sentences. That's how acronyms came by. And if you're learning English, in my opinion, you just have to know, like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 8 acronyms, because everyone from the native speaking countries use acronyms. It's easier. We all want things to be easier. Okay, so but before we go to acronyms, before I explain them, I would love you to give me your versions. Okay, some of you have begun already. What's the LOL? Please answer in the chat box below. What's LOL? Ksenia, thank you. Ksenia is explaining ASAP for us. LOL, yep, I see. Okay. Thank you for LOL. Stop and let's try the IMHO. What is IMHO? Yes, thank you for the LOL. Thank you, Natalia. Really, IMHO? For my Christ's sake. IMHO is, in my humble opinion, LOL is laughing out loud, and as someone said earlier, ASAP is not a rapper, and some of you know ASAP Rocky, the rapper, or the ASAP mob. ASAP is as soon as possible. So remember what was the word? Oh yeah, what's up? I was saying that what's up is not really a slang anymore. The same thing goes with ASAP. You could see people of different, I don't know, different professions, people of different social status use ASAP in any reason, either speaking or texting, because it's something very useful. So ASAP is as soon as possible, and we're going to the next section, to the acronyms. See, here we have the transcription of them. The BTW is, by the way, the YOLO, the very famous YOLO is you only live once. The IDK is I don't know. So my advice for you will be take time and learn, memorize as you wish up to 10 acronyms for you, because it's English, it's the internet era, you really do need these acronyms. Okay, let's continue. Oh, so basically that is our lesson for today, our talk for today, our webinar for today, and what would be our conclusion? So I would advise you to learn slang, because slang is a different language in sense of emotions, like classic or conservative or standard English at times doesn't allow you to channel those emotions that you would want, and that's where you have your slang words. But be cautious, take time in when and in what situations you do use slang. It's an informal language, so business situations, official meetings and gatherings, letters, job applications, no slang. And I would love to share some links with you You see them below is the Urban Dictionary and Online Language Dictionary. Sometimes, like, I remember once I decided, that was a couple years ago, I decided to watch was it an Irish? Yeah, an Irish movie. I decided to watch an Irish movie, and to be honest with you, 25% of those words used in the movie just came to one ear and came out to the other because those were slang words. And what did I do? I just stopped the movie, I take a word, I Google it, and I find the meaning and description either on Urban Dictionary or the Online Slang Dictionary. Okay, that was slang for you. Thank you for your time. It was a very nice time with you guys. You were a very good audience. And now we're going to talk about some things that we can do to help you. Итак, мы переключаемся на русский язык. Всем спасибо большое за ваше участие. И первый вопрос, который возникает у вас, те из вас, которые не работают пока, не сотрудничают с Skyeng, не изучают английский со Skyeng, как Skyeng может помочь вам в изучении английского языка. Чуть раньше, в самом начале, точнее, я говорил о 3 главных особенностях Skyeng. Во-первых, это расписание, которое удобно только вам. Во-вторых, это преподаватели мечты. И третий, я вам сказал о платформе, о know-how Skyeng. И эта платформа называется Vimbox. Если говорить вкратце, то Vimbox – это отдельный уголок, или я бы даже сказал, отдельное место, посвященное вашему изучению английского языка. Vimbox работает как личный кабинет, как напоминатель, как личный учитель и как место, где вы можете изучать английский язык. Обратите внимание на этот скрин, он показывает, что Vimbox – это ваше отдельное место, ваш личный кабинет, где у вас есть информация по вашему прогрессу, по домашним заданиям, по тестам, по времени, по напоминаниям. Но что самое главное, те из вас, которые до этого учили английский через Skype, наверняка знают, что это не самое удобное место, чтобы учить английский, хотя это удобно для переговоров. Поэтому разработчики, или я бы даже сказал, программисты Skyeng придумали уникальную платформу Vimbox, которая отвечает на проблемы изучения английского дистанционно. То есть в чем главная особенность Vimbox, когда вы изучаете английский язык? Полный синхрон. Те из вас, кто учили по скайпу, наверняка знают, что я что-то говорю, преподаватель что-то говорит, и там паузы, переходы, трудность понимания. На Vimbox вы смотрите, например, видео с уникальной Эммой Уотсон, да? Вы смотрите видео, появляется какое-то слово, вы его не понимаете, вы кликаете на стоп, и это видео останавливается у вас и у преподавателя. То есть тотальная синхронизация, и вы, как ученик, управляете процессом обучения. Ну и преподаватель вам в этом тоже помогает. Кроме того, обратите внимание на левую нижнюю часть экрана. Опять же, вы смотрите урок, вы читаете текст, появляется слово, вы его не понимаете, вы нажимаете на него, и слева у вас появляется транскрипция, появляется объяснение и пример использования. А что еще самое крутое, вы берете это слово и перетаскиваете в свое приложение Words. Это в случае, если вы уже сотрудничаете с Skyeng. Если вы пока не сотрудничаете, то есть и платная версия этого приложения, называется Words, она доступна как на Google, точнее, как это называется, Google Play, так и в App Store. Итак, полная синхронизация, и вы управляете процессом обучения. Кроме того, как я уже говорил чуть раньше, Skyeng, точнее, эта платформа является вашим небольшим уголком. Вы зашли туда, вы посмотрели прогресс, вы посмотрели домашние ваши задания, вы посмотрели тесты, но более того, после того, как вы прошли весь курс, вы, наверное, думаете, что вот, все мои уроки прошли. Нет, эти уроки сохраняются на этой платформе, и в течение, я не знаю, скольких лет вы можете заходить, вы можете смотреть, вы можете также проходить, и все эти уроки остаются в вашем личном кабинете. Кроме того, если мы говорим о том, что самое главное в Skyeng, да и вообще мы тут с вами собрались для того, чтобы изучать английский язык, поговорим об уроках. Очень много тем, очень много подтем. У каждого своя цель в изучении английского языка, поэтому вы сможете выбрать ту тему или ту цель, которая вам нужна от английского языка. Допустим, вам нужно только изучить общий английский. Окей, General English, Spoken, Business, English Real World. Возможно, вам нужно подготовиться к экзамену. Окей, IELTS, K, USE. Все эти экзамены, которых я даже в жизни не видел, они здесь есть на Skyeng. Вам нужно подготовиться к встрече, вам нужно, я не знаю, Вы уезжаете завтра в Дубай на 2 недели, вам нужно быстро поднабраться бизнес-раз. Есть бизнес-экспресс, переговоры, встречи, письма и так далее и тому подобное. То есть главная тема Skyeng подстраивается под вашу личную цель. Ну и это даже тоже еще не все. Помните, чуть раньше я говорил о том, что эта платформа абсолютно интерактивная. Те из вас, кто учит английский или любой другой язык через интернет, наверное, знают о том, что, например, вы изучили что-то на одном месте, потом вы перешли на другой сайт, потом вы перешли на третий и так далее и тому подобное. На этой платформе все соединено вместе. Кроме того, допустим, то, что вы изучаете текст, появляется опять-таки какое-то задание, вы его проходите, и платформа отвечает вам, правильно вы прошли или неправильно. То есть полная интерактивность. Кроме этого, вы можете видеть прогресс вашего изучения. То есть, что самое главное в изучении, конечно же, нужен прогресс, и еще хорошо бы за ним следить. Это все доступно на платформе Vimbox. И часто, когда вы, я не знаю, проходите тест или вас спрашивают о вашем языке, любят пользоваться вот этими уровнями intermediate, pre-intermediate, я не знаю, advanced. Лично мне вот эта вся классификация, она не очень нравится, потому что она очень условная. На платформе Vimbox вы сможете не просто как-то, я не знаю, эфемерно или отдаленно знать свой уровень, вы сможете видеть то, что относится к вашей цели. Допустим, вы изучаете или хотите подкачать свою грамматику, вы смотрите свой прогресс по грамматике. Допустим, вы хотите подкачать свою лексику, вы смотрите свой прогресс по лексике. То есть это детальный breakdown по вашим результатам. Итак, это были плюшки приложения, точнее даже целой платформы Vimbox. И я думаю, то, что сейчас я перейду в секцию вопросов. Я подогрел ваш интерес вот этим слайдом, а теперь перейду к секции вопросов. Окей. Первый вопрос. What does homie mean от Никиты Сердюка? Homie – это сленг, который значит друг. Вообще он идет от слова homeland или brother. Это слово, которое означает не просто друг, а именно довольно близкую связь. You are my homie. Ты мой брат, ты мой бро и так далее и тому подобное. Спасибо, Никита, за вопрос. Так, от Екатерины, да, это правильно. Это не совсем вопрос, но то, что мы написали, это правильно. Окей. Is there the way to file a content of this webinar for my future references? Да. Насчет технических вопросов о том, чтобы как получить этот вебинар, пожалуйста, напишите техническую часть, и наш невидимый технический человек вам поможет с этим. Идем дальше. Так. How to sound cockney. Да, я несколько раз говорил о том, что очень важно при изучении английского, или когда вы говорите на британском английском, очень круто говорить с этим акцентом. Ну, лично мне так кажется. Тут спрашивают вопрос, как правильно выучить этот акцент. Как лично я делаю, как я делаю. Забиваю на YouTube, смотрю ролики, кучу роликов на эту тему, там, где люди помогают вам в этом cockney акцент. Потому что, как мне кажется, главная соль или главная фишка британского английского это именно в этом уникальном cockney акценте. Итак, идем дальше. Обижаешься, когда тебя зовут Нига? Это хороший вопрос. Это очень хороший вопрос. Я бы сказал то, что чаще нет, чем да. То есть, если человек во время разговора это говорит, то есть время, чтобы поговорить об этом, объяснить и так далее и тому подобное. Итак, еще один вопрос. Guys, the teacher is bloody serious top class presenter. He needs serious questions. Don't ask him. Окей, спасибо большое, Игорь Смирнов, за ваши вопросы. И всем вам спасибо большое за вопросы. Теперь поговорим о плюшках. В итоге этого вебинара, для того, чтобы подкрепить ваш интерес, для того, чтобы подтолкнуть вас, возможно, к изучению английского языка, мы дарим 2 бесплатных урока для новичков платформы или сервиса Skyeng. Все, что нужно, запомнить этот промокод, и при оплате вы вводите его и получаете 2 бесплатных урока. По-моему, это супер круто. Но есть одна штука, нужно это сделать, как и совсем, лучше успеть, чем можно быстрее, да, взять быка за рога. Акция действует до 12 числа сентября. У вас есть еще целых 2 недели. Итак, 2 бесплатных урока, промокод WebSlang. Запомните его. Ну, ставя итог, подводя итог, хочу пригласить вас подписаться на все, что есть у Skyeng в социальных сетях. Мы есть везде. Кроме того, не забывайте о разговорных клубах. Если вы живете в Москве, приходите, будем вас рады видеть. Интересные темы. Там мы сможем даже, я смогу уделить больше внимания, другие преподаватели, к вашему личному произношению и так далее и тому подобное. И тут мне говорят то, что акция есть только для новых учеников. Нет, те, кто уже есть на платформе, есть очень много плюшек. Заходите в свой личный кабинет, смотрите. Кроме разговорных клубов, это постоянная email-рассылка. Мы всегда здесь, чтобы помочь вам в изучении английского языка. Итак, всем спасибо за ваше время. Я попрошу вас оценить вебинар по ссылке под этими двумя пальцами. Было приятно с вами провести этот уникальный час. И до встречи на Skyeng. Всем спасибо, всем пока.